Hello YouTube, GodsPrepper here. So, about 6 months ago my wife came up to me and said, you know, you're doing all this stuff, garden, animals, everything to become self-sustaining. She said, but what happens when they run out of fuel and you can't buy it anymore? So that led me on my journey to find the gasifier. And I committed about 2 months ago to making one. Ultimately, what I want to do is run one that's going to be big enough. So here's right now this is all a prototype. I'm just building this as a test, right? I want to see what I can produce with this. My goal with this prototype is to run a 35-ton wood splitter. I have 9 cord of wood that I have to split. It's oak and it's a lot of work no matter what. So if I can get enough gas produced with this to power my wood splitter, I feel pretty confident that I can move to the next level. Now for the prototype, this is what I have. Don't comment on the welding. I have a lot of high heat silicone around. It's right over there. But I'm using 2 55-gallon drums. This one's a thick wall. Obviously, for those of you who have seen these videos before with Joshua Burks and several other guys, Doc, and the Drive on Wood guys, you already know what you're looking at pretty much. But anyway, this is going to be the clean out. I just fabricated that out of some sheet metal or angle iron that I have. Then I'm going to put sheet metal over it right there to seal it. And this is exhaust pipe. I believe it was Josh who mentioned that it was easier to work with and came in pre-bent components and the whole 9 yards, and he was right. Makes it a lot easier. This is the cooling tank and filtration, first filtration. In here I'm going to have multi-stage filtration set up on removable grates. So the first one will be like wood chips and, you know, small pieces of tree limb. The second stage, which will start right about in here at the second high ring, is going to be wool. We have sheep that we shear, but we don't spin the wool. So we have, you know, large bags of wool laying around. So I'm thinking that that will be a really good filtration system for that. And yesterday I went and did some shopping. By the way, this isn't cheap, just so you know. I'm sure you guys all know that. Just the stuff for the prototype and a lot of stuff I had, it's still going to cost me up around $200. And I haven't bought any brass valves. I've tried to lay it out where I don't need to use the brass, you know, so I'm not dealing with the heat level there. I'm waiting until it gets out to this point where I can connect it to PVC, and I'll use the PVC valves, which are substantially cheaper. But my plan is to transition into a PVC filtration and condensing unit right in here, and it'll drop down and loop out the bottom to the next set. So there will be 3 of these in line, and at the last one it'll have this connector on this end that'll go to a blower, or actually it can go straight to the motor. But I'm kind of having a mental block on trying to figure out how to get the motor engaged and where to get the motor actually. So I got 1-inch clear PVC, right, 8 foot long, and my plan is to attach it to here like so, and that'll be the output from the last inline filter. I suspect that I'll end up using stainless steel scrubber pots in here. My fabrication capabilities are fairly limited. I don't have torches or a plasma cutter. I have a bandsaw and a low-end welder right now. So we make do with what we've got. At the end of this, I have a connector, as you can see, that slides right into the 1-inch flex pipe, right, with a lock nut. Now my plan is to remove the valve cover gasket from, or the air cleaner gasket from the wood splitter, and set this in through a hole and then lock it down and screw it back in. So we'll see how that works. This is the burn tube. It is 24 inches deep and 6 inches across. Now there's a plate welded on the bottom. The lid sits on top of it, and then this is just a sandwich plate, right, so that I can screw through it and give everything some rigidity, because these lids aren't very strong. And down there you can see somewhat. I have a choke point in there, and I may need to increase the size of the actual choke point and make it more narrow, but we'll see. I used the center ring out of that rim. It blew the sidewall due to the rim itself being damaged. So as you can see, I cut it out, and then I just made use of it for this. I actually found that on a freeway, and this is what it looks like. So that's that. Now, as you can tell, I have chains welded to the bottom. I haven't gotten as fancy as most guys. I just welded the chain directly to the bottom plate, and I'll use adjustable components to attach my my ash plate, and we'll go from there. I have 3 items I need yet to complete this. Well, 4. I need a bilge blower, or I need a fan with the squirrel cage already in place. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, let me know when I post it. Now the idea of these is to have air injection, right? So this will sit above the top plate, and it'll come down into a 90 that sits right there. You can see the holes that I drilled through it. Right, so a 90 will come in like so, and I'll weld it, and that'll leave the other side open for this to thread into. And at which point I'm hoping that it does air injection. We'll see. Like I said, this is prototype. I want it to ultimately be a downfeed, right? Because I don't want to have to deal with sealed units and wait for the fuel to burn down and then fill it back up, seal it up again, and reignite. I'm not into that. Because what I want to do is make this a bigger version and run. It'll probably be about 40 or 50 feet of copper coil wrapped in here in concentric circles. And through the heat generated by pyrolysis in this tank, in the burn tube, I'm hoping to heat that amount of water enough that I can circulate it through my house and heat my floors. Hence, heating my house as well as providing gas for my generator and my wood splitter. And the third thing that I would really like to experiment with is Fischer-Tropsch, which is the conversion of wood gas into a liquid form, so that you can actually store it, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have read that you can't really store the wood gas, but it can be converted through Fischer-Tropsch. And I have an uncle who's a chemist, and I've been beating on him to lend me a hand so that we can come to an understanding of what's required to accomplish that. But Mr. Thessalonia did it on a small scale. He produced diesel and gasoline all out of the same run, so I see no issue in not being able to accomplish that. Alright, that's all for now. Let me know if you guys have comments or anything. God bless you and have a great day.